Some things in our life are just so uninteresting that we really wouldn't want to spend any time paying attention to it. The same applies to certain people. But what actually makes someone boring? First of all, everyone has the capacity to be interesting. You don't need to do extreme sports and travel the world to be considered an interesting conversational partner. When having a conversation, it is important to pay attention to balance. And by that, I mean the ratio of talking and listening. Boring people tend to be on either side of the extreme. Either they only talk and don't listen, or they only listen and don't talk at all. While talking, the most important to keep in mind is not to spend most of your talking time on topics you personally deem to be negative. Being negative and complaining, talking about one's problems and displaying disinterest in others can make your conversation partner gradually lose any interest in what you have to say. Of course, this is also applicable on too much self-preoccupation in general. The same goes for the depth of what you have to say. Talking about trivial or superficial things, being interested in only one topic and repeating the same stories and jokes again and again makes people turn away. When engaging with others, being enthusiastic about interacting with them is key to be interesting. Speaking in a monotonous voice, engaging in very little eye contact, and generally behaving in a very unexpressive way will gesture that you have no interest in the conversation, and neither will they after that. While maintaining strong opinions is not always the key to charm your conversation partner, having none at all is definitely worse in 99% of the situations. Having little to say, not having any opinions, and being too predictable and conformist with what everyone else is saying just means that you don't need to be included in the conversation at all. You would be deemed irrelevant. As we have established, making meaningful contributions to the conversation is important. Interesting people contribute more information to the conversation than boring people do. Boring people use more empty words and say more things that don't mean much. That can include vocal sounds, but also meaningless phrases. Boring people can't tell if others are engaged in the conversation, and neither can they see things from the perspectives of others in general. This makes it extremely difficult to appear interesting to others because they just don't adapt their communications to others' needs. We have looked at 7 factors that boring people display, but what can we take away from it? For the most part, just doing the opposite. Let's summarize all the important actions so they should be easy to remember. Are you curious? Act curious. Display interest. Express excitement about a mutual interest while keeping the conversation in balance. Do you pay attention to social cues so you can figure out if it's time to let the other person talk? If not, study them and start now. Feel yourself into the other person. Do you have a set of stories that you can draw upon to lighten up the conversation? Over time, you learn which stories generate the most interest and enthusiasm. Talking about the weather just to keep the conversation going is a terrible idea. Don't talk about banalities and use empty phrases, but add meaning and value instead. If you watch this video to improve your own conversational skills, keeping these points in mind should instantly boost people's interest. If you watched this just out of curiosity, look out if you can still catch yourself displaying some of these habits. It happens to everybody from time to time. Stay interesting, stay valorous.